But in recent years, another party has begun to make news, the Green Party. 4 years ago, Green Party candidate for Governor Rich Whitney got 10% of the vote statewide, making the party one of only 3 legally established statewide political parties in Illinois. And today, according to a national Green Party website, there are now 6 Green Party office holders throughout Illinois. And here to discuss their party, their candidacies, and more is Rich Whitney, the Green Party's gubernatorial candidate, Lealyn Jones, the party's candidate for U.S. Senate, and Tom Tresser, the party's candidate for Cook County Board President. Welcome all to Chicago tonight. Rich Whitney, just give us a primer. What is the Green Party? What does it stand for?
Well, the Green Party is actually part of an international movement of parties. There are Green Parties in over 100 countries around the world. They're based on what we call the 4 pillars of ecological wisdom, grassroots democracy, social justice, and nonviolence. Those are very broad principles, but from those we derive our public policy positions. That's why we stand for, things like single-payer health care, why education is very important to us, why we, as a matter of principle, oppose the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. So
if you had to place yourself on the political spectrum from right to left, where does the Green Party fall, Tom Tresser?
Well, I'd say we stand with the people. We like to say we're unbossed and unbought. We don't take money from corporations, which if you read your newspapers every day, you find cause for woe. People of America are wondering who exactly are representing them. We send people to Washington and to the State House and to the county courthouse, and they don't seem to be representing us. We don't take money from vested interests, therefore we are unbossed and unbought.
But Lealyn Jones, I mean, would you say that you're progressive? Would you say you're touches of libertarianism? How would you describe it? Or are those terms you just don't use?
I think that we are, as Tom stated, a party that represents the vested interest of the people. We have an insight and a commitment to the issues that go beyond the aggrandizement of what you see within the 2 major parties and within the media. And as Tom stated, by not taking corporate money, that allows us to have a true commitment to see these issues resolved, not because it's within our political interest or within our economic interest, because it's in the best interest of the people who need the government that we would like to bring forth through our parties' understanding of issues, through not being bought by corporate donations. And as we go forward, I think in this electoral process, being that only 1 in 5 voters showed up, on Super Tuesday, which wasn't so super, we represent that other 80% of the people that don't have a clear understanding of where their government is going, but has a great need for a government that represents them.
Okay, Rich, as you set yourself apart from Pat Quinn or Bill Brady or Kirk Diller, depending on who the Republicans wind up as depending on who their nominees, how do you distinguish yourself from Quinn or Brady or Diller?
Well, there's a lot of ways. Obviously, the economy is issue number 1 right now, as well as the budget. I'm the only candidate in the race that is standing on a platform that includes the establishment of a state bank, which is an idea that North Dakota has adopted. It's a good old progressive idea.
What is a state bank? I saw that on your website. What does a state bank do? How does it function? Why is it a good idea?
Well, when we collect state revenues, instead of depositing those in private banks, the same institutions that are partly responsible for creating the economic plight we're in, we have our own bank that's run and controlled by the state. We use it to invest in people in our state. We can use the resources to pay ourselves back in order to invest in education, invest in green infrastructure. The kinds of public policy initiatives that we want to see accomplished will be better able to do that.
And you're also calling, in addition to the state bank concept you just briefly described, you're also calling for a tax swap. Higher income tax in exchange for property tax relief.
Yeah, we hear a lot about the higher income tax, but you have to look at this as a whole package. In 2006, I was the only candidate in the race that championed House Bill, Senate Bill 750. There's a new version of Senate Bill 750 that's been introduced. That is part of the solution. I am still standing on that.
And I'm sorry, describe what those were.
Well, it does include an income tax, but the income tax has to be coupled with protection for lower and middle income working people so that they actually don't pay the higher tax. The bottom 60% of income earners would be protected. They would not pay the higher tax. You would still raise enough revenue this way to fund our schools at the recommended foundation level. You'd have another $300 million for higher education. You'd be able to start paying down the pension deficit, which is a huge problem, and you go a long way toward eliminating the structural deficit.
Is it, and this is what one often hears when one talks about the possibility or the prospect of higher taxes, politically feasible right now given a recession?
Well, you just had the Responsible Budget Coalition, an organization of over a coalition of over 100 organizations demonstrating down in Springfield today. I think the people understand that in order for the private sector to flourish, we need a functioning public sector that that performs the core functions that government needs to perform, of education, infrastructure, health care, the things that really serve the people and allow the business community to flourish.
I'd like to make just one point
Sure.
on that, if I may. For every dollar that we in Illinois send to the federal government, we only get 78 cents back. So that's a 22 cent deficit on every dollar we send. That ends up to about $19 billion in net loss just from 2005. So if we in Illinois could just keep some of that money that we were already being taxed, we could fix our problems here. But where the problem is, we're over-militarized, and we're corrupt, and we're incompetent.